everyone, and welcome to episode 20 of Sequel Pitch, in which we pitch sequels to movies that don't have them. Yay!
Episode 20!
My name is Ross, and I'm going to show you the way as the host this week. You're welcome. And joining me, as ever, is the man that will always lead us back to safety. It's Drew Toynbee.
Hello, thank you.
Next is a man that has hair as silky as Maui. It's Matthew Rushton.
Yeah, I do.
And last but no means least, a man that has given us clones, a 50-foot rock, and zombie livers. It's our very own Maui himself, Andy Henry.
Hello everyone.
Oh, you could have said you're welcome then. You're welcome.
Oh, yeah. Wait, let's go back and do it again. Set me up.
Cool. How are you doing today, boys? Good?
Very good.
It's a hot one.
It is a hot one. It's a
All
hot
four
one.
of us are officially jabbed now. Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We are.
Still
Half
feeling
jabbed.
a little...
We're now being
Little
tracked.
groggy.
The microchips are in.
Yeah, I've got 5G, mate, now. It's pretty fast.
Or 5G in you.
I am.
Yeah.
I was compelled to throw my PlayStation out the window and immediately went out and bought an Xbox. Thanks, Bill.
Welcome to the dark side.
Today, we are going to be pitching sequels to the movie, the beautiful 2016 animation Moana.
Yeah.
Now, in case you haven't, if you've been living under a rock, like Andy and Matt, because they've never seen any film. We do a 60. Shade. I'm throwing shade. We do a 60 selection.
60
Yeah, what?
Damn it!
You
It was
might
going
want to keep
so
some
well.
of that shade for later.
That's right.
It's
Should we
going
pass the
so
hosting
well.
duty to Drew or someone?
Yeah, we do a 60-second kinda synopsis in case you haven't seen it. So, here we go. Maui, a demigod, steals the mystical heart of the goddess Tafiti. The heart is a small luminescent stone which has the power to create life. Maui steals it to gift it to humanity. But as he flees the island with the stone, he is attacked by a lava monster, Teka, causing the stone to fall from his hand and disappear into oblivion. Centuries later, we meet Moana, the princess of a small island in Polynesia, who has a special connection with the ocean. The ocean calls out to her, but her family prevent her from ever venturing out beyond the reef for the fear of losing her. As Moana grows up, she is told that a life of being the village chieftain awaits her, but her heart is set on venturing out into the ocean. The islands around them slowly begin to fade away and fall into disrepair because of the curse caused by Maui when he stole the heart of Tafiti. Several stories and secrets are revealed to Moana by her kooky grandmother, and they convince her that she has been chosen by the ocean to find Maui and restore the heart of Tafiti. Along with her pet chicken, Hi-Hi, or Hey-Hey. Hey-Hey or Hi-Hi?
Hi-Hi.
Hey-Hey. She sets out on the ocean to search for Maui. When she finds him, she realizes that he's an extremely self-centered, self-absorbed egomaniac. She has to get inventive and treat him with the utmost respect in order to get him to find the lost heart of Tafiti. Maui and Moana form a special bond. She teaches him to think about others and be generous, and he takes a liking to her, teaching her how to navigate the waters and sheltering her from all the troubles along the way. When they go to replace the heart of Tafiti into the mother island, the lava demon Taka strikes again, breaking Maui's magical hook in the battle, robbing him of all his powers. Maui loses hope, but motivates Moana to finish the task on her own, and egged on by this newfound courage, she puts her skills to the use and replaces the heart of Tafiti. The goddess Tafiti returns in full bloom, and the islands around Polynesia are rid of the curse that was causing them to perish. The goddess Tafiti even repairs Maui's broken hook, restoring his powers. The end.
And there are some wicked songs.
Yes, there are some very wicked songs. So, boys, what do we think?
It is a good movie.
Very nice. Beautiful animation, especially with the water.
Yeah.
It's been a while on the water, I think, and it definitely pays off. The water having a life of its own was a bit weird in a good way. I liked it, but just like it's like when it like kind of like almost like when she was a kid and she kind of like turned her head and it did the same kind
And
of
it
game, like an
mimicked.
emotion. It was a bit weird. Oh yeah, it was a bit like okay.
But you found that weird, but not the lava monster, or
Of course, the
Or
lava
the
monster brings-
entire goddess Tafiti.
Yeah.
Yeah. Matt, did you like it? Did you dislike it?
I really enjoyed it. You know, it screams Disney. It's a family-friendly movie, but one that is accessible to every generation. I think everyone can take their own messages and morals from the story, but ultimately, it's a feel-good film that creates tension, but controls the tension and creates a fun vibe. The music, the songs, as Drew says, they're brilliant. You know, Dwayne Johnson, once again, he appears in one of our movies because he's just in everything, but he
is
nails it.
ubiquitous.
Yeah.
He's Maui
Apparently-
through and through, isn't he?
They didn't want anyone else to play Maui. They went straight to The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, and asked him if he wanted to be in the movie, which is interesting.
Who else could
And
you
I
get?
mean, I couldn't see anyone else play that role.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is perfect. It worked. He's just well, and that's he is larger than life. He is this big, like, cheeky presence. He's got a good singing voice on him as well. Like, I'm sure there is some post processing and some pitch correcting going on occasionally, but he does a cracking job with "You're Welcome."
Yeah.
And just his general attitude and his delivery of the lines all the way through. Like when he keeps throwing Moana off the boat and the water keeps putting her back, and then he just goes, "Okay, I'm out," and just dives off. And like when they fall down into the undersea underworld and she sort of bounces down the cliff, and he
she's
just looks
dead.
over and goes, "Well, she's dead." And he's just he's phenomenal. He's a sensation in this film. He's so good.
What did you guys think of this story in general? Like, did you like it? Did you think it was different to like a normal princess movie? Because I've heard a lot of things of like, you know, they didn't want to. I think the original script, they wanted her to fall in love with someone, but they chose not to. They chose about her finding herself and about navigation. What did you think? What did you think of it being if you think of it like that, of a princess movie, because she is technically a princess?
Well, she has that
2016,
line.
right? Oh, go on, Andy.
Yes.
Is it 2016? I thought it was 18.
Yeah,
But
it's-
she has that line where she says, "I'm not a princess," and then
Yeah.
Maui says, "Your daughter of a chief and wear a dress or something that makes you a princess."
And you have an animal
Oh,
sidekick.
psychic. Yeah, that was it. Yeah.
There's you can see this in Frozen as well, where they've made Disney have, and again, this is the lineage where all of the Disney princesses came from, who are prior to even including Tangled, when they first went to like computer generated 3D animation from hand drawn animation. In Tangled, she has a bit more agency, but she does still end up with Eugene at the end of that film.
Yeah.
And then with Frozen, they were like, okay, yeah, there is a love interest, but actually Hans is the baddie, and yeah, she's romantically linked to Kristoff, but the primary relationship is between the sisters. And here they've made that decision of Moana having her primary relationship be with her grandmother.
Yeah.
And it's obviously we're all blokes, and so we can't talk to lived experience of growing up with princesses wanting to get married, being role models, which lots of younger girls kind of did, or lots of girls did as they were growing up. But it seems, I personally feel like it's a very positive change, and I think audience numbers and box office and general sentiment towards particularly Frozen and Moana would agree.
We've talked about it a bit, and I think we've done it in some of our pictures and whatnot. You know, we're at a point where we're trying to break down gender stereotypes, especially in the cinema industry. You know, the cinematic industry. The arts in general can sometimes, film and TV can be a little bit dated. And we've talked a lot about strong female protagonists. And I feel like this is absolutely. I didn't know about the whole idea of having a love story in earlier scripts. I'm so glad they didn't do that because, why is that a default? It should be, doesn't matter what the gender of your protagonist is. I'm glad that it's a female protagonist because it strengthens exactly what Drew's saying. It gives young women and young people a chance to start looking at their heroes, their idols, in new lights and in ways where it no longer becomes conforming to what's the word? Not premonitions, like a precognitive kind of We're breaking beyond that now, and I'm glad that even the likes of Disney are taking opportunities to do that. And whoever made the call to remove the love interest, kudos to them. Give them a bloody pay rise because that's exactly what we should be doing. We should be nurturing this idea where gender's not important, where background isn't important. People can live any life they want, as long as it's legal. They can be who they want to be and do what they want to do. And movies like this, that was the biggest thing I took away actually from it. I'm not overly fussed about the story. There's a bit hit and miss about the story, but the messages behind the story I was really buying into.
That's cool. So what did you guys feel about sort of like the Polynesian sort of mythology that these guys used? Because obviously we don't know much about Polynesian mythology, so we're just going on the basis of what we felt about the film. And obviously we did, a few of us have probably done some research doing the sequel. The movie, some people, it was quite Marmite. A lot of Polynesian people didn't like it because it wasn't very true to how they've been brought up on their Polynesian history and Polynesian society and stuff. However, obviously I can only speak for myself and say I really like the fact that we're learning about a culture that I had no idea about, and the mythology that these guys used in it are it's a heightened version of, it's just one opinion's person of their mythology, if that makes sense. What did you guys think, in terms of that, in terms of seeing another culture in this big film?
Well, yeah, one we haven't seen before. I think you may have said that as well. It was amazing to see all this without trying to sound too naive, all this new stuff. But I mean, talking about all these stories.
They're kind of their creation myths and things.
Yeah. I mean, doing the research for the sequel, I know there was so many different stories that kind of sometimes had the same kind of message or overlapped in certain things, but. I think I read somewhere maybe, but I think when they were writing the story, they just kind of did get loads of different Maori legends or something and kind of put it together.
What's really great about this movie is they and Disney they formed a group of Pacific Islanders advisors, and they were called the Oceanic Story Trust, and these guys helped the filmmakers, and these range from I think there was archaeologists, all historians, and they all helped with to build this, to make it, to make it.
Well, you want to be as accurate as you can.
Yeah,
to make it as accurate as they could do.
That's really cool. I was going to ask Ross, was there any information about how they made sure that it was culturally sensitive, and that's really cool that they do that. I think it's right that they should have done that, but it is good to know that they did.
Nice to know they've moved on and they're not just trying to write it themselves. So,
and there is this weird kind of. It's fantastic that so many of the people on the production team were Pacific Islanders and from the area with specific knowledge of that history and that culture that could bring it to it. There is still potentially that uncomfortable feeling of, hey, this is a giant global corporation appropriating that culture for profit.
Yeah.
And like having Ali Cravolo like promoting Disneyland's Hawaii's new like Moana themed hotel. I've seen some criticism of that kind of stuff, but at least they have gone as far as to actually genuinely get people from that area to give input, unlike with things like Pocahontas.
Yeah, I think Disney, it's a hard one, isn't it? It's always hard when a big corporation like that will do a movie about that a culture that nobody mainstream doesn't know anything about, and I think that is always going to be an issue. I think more eyes to a culture and to bring people like a little kid is good, but
exactly.
I get why people
they've got
would
to market
be,
the film and stuff, and then more they kind of, as bad as it sounds, slap Moana on a product. It is gonna sell.
Yeah.
But
Exactly. There's
it still kind of gets the name out. It's that. But,
hopefully, as far as representation goes, and diversity and representation of people from different areas of the world that aren't just white, it's still a net positive that this film exists and that people like us have an understanding, have some, even if it's kind of bastardized and not necessarily the education that people from that area would want us to have, but hopefully there is a positive that people like us have some understanding of it and some now awareness of that culture that we didn't before.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you put it beautifully there, Drew. What do we think about the music? I loved it.
I thought it was great.
I mean, he's a lyrical genius, isn't he? Like,
yeah,
he really is.
You kind of know Manuel Miranda. Certainly, I would say I properly learned about him through Hamilton, as I'm sure so many others did. Yeah. But when you go back and look at In the Heights and Moana,
some of us knew In the Heights before it was all famous and cool because some of us were into musical theatre.
but it's true, it's when you introduce songs and music like this to a movie, it has to be good, otherwise it can bury it. Like, we only have to look back to some of the other musical-based films that have been released to see how music can destroy what could have otherwise been a good film. With this, it just elevates it. Pedestal, it puts it so much higher. And I think, again, as I say, for me, the story was a bit meh. I've definitely been on bigger journeys with other Disney films, but goddamn, that soundtrack carried me through it and made it a thoroughly enjoyable movie for me.
I am trying to learn. I'm trying to learn the words of "We Know the Way" before it turns into the English lyrics. So I love the soundtrack. I think it's amazing, and I often play it a lot of times. So much so that I played it on a date that I went on, and when I put Moana on, I started singing. It definitely went downhill from there. Anyway,
I can do the whole rap bit from You're Welcome. By the way, I'm not going to.
Come on, yo, you can't say that and not do it. Come on.
I'm not making the listeners sit through that.
Okay, if any of our listeners want to see Drew rapping the You're Welcomes on, then please tweet us when you hear this episode. Please, we'll put hashtag Make Drew Rap.
Yeah, okay, yeah. If we get 5 tweets from people that aren't hosts of this podcast with the hashtag Make Drew Rap, then I will upload a video to my Twitter of me doing it.
Yeah.
Come on, people. You heard.
Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about our favourite moments, and then we'll do sort of like our summing up of what we thought. I'll go first, and I'll talk about some of the lovely moments. Is the like you talked about it when Moana's a little baby or a child, and she walks over and she's protecting that little turtle, and the music to that bit where she sees the water come up and then it plays with her and stuff. That is beautiful. I love the moment between her and the grandma. I think that's beautiful again. And I love the end bit where she stands up to Car, and she sings that beautiful bit at the end, which is again really beautiful. Those are my sort of standout, and obviously the Rock. The Rock's just amazing in it. Yeah. But I just love that. It's just Drew, what are some of the standout moments?
All right. If I had to choose one moment of this film above all others, it would be the reprise of How Far I'll Go when she stands up and belts I Am Moana and then dives into the ocean. Like I literally have goosebumps just describing that moment. I can't even hear the music. But that only just edges out just so much of this film. It's so wholesome, it's so lovely. The moment when her grandmother says, when she feels like she's failed, and her grandmother's like, I should never have put this pressure on you, and it's okay, and if you want to go home, I support you. Like, rather than the movie being like, no, it's your destiny, you have to do this. Like, there is just so much about this movie. It's not perfect, but there's it's a lovely, wonderful film, and I love a great deal of this film.
I mean, that was kind of, I think Drew was kind of doing his summing up, and then should we just go straight to the points? We should just go straight to the points. Let's go straight to the point. That's all right. We'll lead into Drew. Drew, what do you give it out of 5?
I would give it 4.75.
Nice.
Amazing Lin-Manuel Miranda songs out of 5.
Nice.
There are just a couple of tiny things like the uncommented upon magic that just randomly shows up, like the water being magic for no particular reason, and when she plays the drums in the cave and then the torches light, and so it is kind of explicitly in universe playing that drum is magic, and it's then never commented on again. But the film moves at such a pace, and it's so charming and so lovely and so gorgeous to look at and listen to, that it's not quite there for me, but it is right up there.
Yeah. Okay, Matt, give us a good moment, and then what your scores are.
I think, you've touched on a lot. I really enjoy the whole giant crab interlude.
Oh my God, we didn't even talk about Jermaine Clement as a giant crab.
May turn up in my sequel. But that character, I don't even know his name, but I enjoyed that.
Tamatoa.
I still don't know his name, even though you just said it. I was talking. Either way, also Mary does go on a bit of a journey, and his tattoos, his talking interactive tattoos, guiding him through. I think that's nice, and seeing him kind of have his redemption arc at the end and really kind of show where who he was. That's nice. It's a great film. It's not the most exciting story for me, I must admit. Perhaps that is just an ignorance on my part from Polynesian mythology, but a great film. I'm going to give it, looking how I've scored other films, I'm going to stick with what I said last week, and I'm going to go with 3.75 again. I can't quite score it as high as Drew, but I did really enjoy the movie.
Okay, you heard it here, folks. Matt is now leaving the podcast. So
he's muting you, Matt.
Yeah, and that's the last we'll see of Matt. So goodbye, Matt. Andy,
what can I say? You can say fuck off then.
You're average.
Yeah, I mean, what more can I say? Yeah, beautiful movie. A couple of things wrong. Music's great. I love it. Yeah, it just shines a light on a whole new world. I love the I am Moana bit. I hope there's a bit in my life where I have a triumphant moment. And I can just scream, "I am Andy."